Welcome to Common Prophets. After his return to Ai, the first thing that happened was that Abraham and Lot had a conflict. Their herdsmen fought with each other and they decided to separate. Lot went to live at Sodom and Abraham went to live at Hebron. We find the same narrative in the Valmiki Ramayana, although the context is slightly different. According to the Ramayana, Rama was once engaged in some secret consultations with one sage. At the same time, another sage named Durvasa came to Ayodhya and wanted to meet Ram. However, Ram had instructed his brother Lakshmana to stay as a doorkeeper and ensure that no one entered his consultation chamber. But Durvasa threatened Lakshmana that if he would not let him see Ram immediately, then he would curse not only Lakshmana and Ram but also the entire city of Ayodhya. Lakshmana was in a dilemma. He thought that it is better that he alone be punished by Ram rather than entire Ayodhya being cursed, and so he allowed Durvasa to visit with Ram. That happened, and then Ram decided to break his relations with Lakshmana because he had violated his injunctions. Thereafter, the Ramayana says that Lakshmana left Ayodhya, he went to the banks of the river, held his breath and ended his worldly journey. So we can see that after the return of Abraham or Ram to Ai or Ayodhya, the two persons had a conflict and then they separated. Lot was living at Sodom. At this point, a conflict took place between 4 and 5 kings. Lot fought with the king of Sodom. He was captured. Then Abraham came to know that Lot had been captured, so he went with his manpower and liberated Lot. The Ramayana is silent about such a happening. Another parallel we find is that after his return to Ai, Abraham had 2 sons. First son Ishmael from Hagar and second son Isaac from Sarah. We find that the same story is told in the Valmiki Ramayana. Rama had 2 sons, but he had both the sons from the same wife named Sita. So the fact of 2 sons is common, although the 2 wives versus 1 wife is distinct. Then the Bible goes on to say that the people of Sodom were wicked. God decided to destroy Sodom, and at this time, because of the prayers of Abraham, Lot managed to escape and he lived in a place called named Zoar, and he died there. The death of Lot or Lakshman away from Ram and Abraham is common in the both traditions, except that this happens from Sodom in the biblical narrative and it happens a little bit later. Then God tells Abraham to sacrifice his only son at Mount Moriah. Abraham goes to Mount Moriah, and just as he is about to sacrifice his son, a ram appears and God tells him to sacrifice the ram instead of his son. And so it happens. We find perhaps a similar event is hidden in the Ramayana. The Ramayana says that Rama called for a Ashwamedha, a horse sacrifice. And while he was doing this horse sacrifice, Love and Kush, his 2 sons, who were living away from him at that time because Sita had been expelled, they came there as bards and they began to sing the songs of the lives of Lord Ram. Thereupon Ram asked that Sita be brought to the place of the sacrifice, and at that point Sita is taken into the earth. This means 2 things. First, that there could be an association with Abraham sacrificing his son at Mount Moriah and Ram making a fire sacrifice So, but this is a tenuous connection that requires more study. Thereafter, Sarah died. Then the Bible says that Abraham came to mourn for her. Came to mourn means that Abraham was living somewhere else and he came to the place where Sarah had died. We find the same situation just as I have just narrated in the previous section. We find the same situation in the Hindu text where it is said that Sita was living in Valmiki ashram and she came to the place of the sacrifice of Ram and was taken into the earth, which means that at the point of death of Sarah or Sita, they were living away from Abraham or Ram. The Ramayana then tells of Rama's brothers Bharat and Shatrughan going to the land of Gandharas and the land of Mathura to conquer those lands and to rule upon them. The Bible is silent about this. Towards the end, the Bible says Abraham decided to settle at Gerar, but the Valmiki Ramayana only says that Abraham entered the Sarayu river facing west. What happened after that? The Ramayana is silent. The last but small similarity is that Abraham's grandson Jacob settles in the south and Ram's son Cush is made the king of southern part of his kingdom, South Kosala. We can see in this chart that the parallels are that first, Lot and Lakshman separate from Abraham and Ram. Secondly, Abraham sacrifices his son, whereas Love and Cush come to his sacrifice as bards. Third, Sarah dies away from Abraham, whereas Sita was living away from Ram at the point of her death. Lastly, both Abraham as well as Ram move towards the south or the west. And lastly, Jacob and Cush settle in the south. But this parallel arises if we ignore the four major silences. The Ramayana is silent on the conflict between 4 and 5 kings. The Ramayana is also silent on the destruction of Sodom. The Bible is silent on the conquests of Bharat and Shatrughan over Gandhara and Mathura. And lastly, the Ramayana is silent about the travels of Joseph, son of Jacob, to the south. But a silence does not mean a contradiction. So it is possible that the common frame, the common story was in the collective unconscious of the people. Some parts of that common story have been recorded in the Bible. Other component parts of that same story have been recorded in the Valmiki Ramayana. Therefore, the common frame is now available to us in two different manifestations. In this way, these similarities give us an opportunity to think whether these descriptions may have a common origin from where they have arisen. Please do not forget to like this post, share this post, and for more information, please do visit our website www.commonprophets.com. Thank you.